Intro, Peter draws. Okay, I have a box. See? Would you be surprised if I told you in this box is a gourd? I'm just kidding. This is for later, okay? We'll get to that. Today we're gonna look at this do you think this is to say Tekchic or Tekchic? It's a wire tips wood burning kit. Apparently they sent me a copy to review, and we're gonna try it out, see how it works. It looks pretty sturdy so far. Just looking at these, like, this is some solid stuff. I mean, I have some very expensive wood burning kits, and they don't seem as heavy duty as this, but I'm just gonna wait. I'm just gonna wait and see, okay? I'm gonna wait and see how it works. And I'm gonna talk about wood burning kits and the different levels of them in a little bit, okay? Because it's a very complicated thing that I don't have the time to get into right off the bat, like the plot of the movie Primer or the way my pinky toenails grow. This looks like something rattling around in there, the main power unit. Okay, it looks like here's some more wire tips. Oh wait, no, I think maybe these are like little things to rest the tips in when you're not using them. Oh yeah. And then these little foam things go in here, I guess. Maybe there'll be a manual that I won't read. All right, no, there it is. There's the power unit. It's got variable temperature control, maybe a digital display, and you can switch between two different tips, which is something I've seen in other high-end kits. I think the main difference, I could be totally wrong on this, but the main difference with this one is I have not seen a lot of other wire tip pyrography kits on Amazon. And I think this one is available on Amazon, which is a big deal for me because I like buying things on Amazon, and my other kits I've had to buy on like the company's website. Like my razor tip burner, I bought on the razor tip website. My Coalwood burner, I bought on like woodworking.com, which I think is the same company or something like that. The manual was the first thing I pulled out. Oh yeah, look, it shows the little cradles there. Oh. Look, in the example in the manual here, they have some guy drawing a crazy face and writing wild guy. Okay, let's assemble it real quick. I think it's pretty much plug and play. Gotta find an open plug. Just unplugged something. I didn't notice anything else up here turn off. Nothing important anyways. These are rattly. And then these go in here. They screw on and everything. Okay. Right in there. And then just switch right here on the side. Oh. That was the number of volts. Oh, that's interesting. I don't have one that has, I don't really know how useful these numbers are to me. I guess it's just good to have a numerical value for when you wanted to set it to a number you had it before, I guess. Oh, I can smell them heating up. The first time you heat up metal like this, I guess it makes a smell. So right now these both have what you might call pen tips on them. I might leave a pen tip. Actually, my kind of go-to, if I have two tips available to me, I usually do a knife blade and a shader tip. So I might look and see if I have that available to me in this little thing right here. I'll say this now, okay? So the nice thing about wire nibs or solid tipped wood burners or pyrography kits, whatever you want to call it, is that wire nibs can, in my experience, can get a lot hotter okay, which is good for a lot of things. But also, they get hotter quicker and also cool down faster. And you have temperature controls and stuff on a lot of these units. There are solid tipped ones, I think, that might have temperature controls. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff out there, okay? So if you're looking to get one of these, it's good to do your research. A lot of it depends on your budget. Let's see what we've got here. I'm looking for a certain shape of tip. I kind of want a combination of this and this. I want these two kind of mixed together. I don't know if I see that. This might do in a pinch. Oh, this, okay, so this right, I say this one right here. This one right here can be this can be my shader tip right here. You can use it kind of flat and it does nice shading. Yeah, I might as well just go ahead and use this as my knife tip to do all my lines and stuff. I haven't had one of these where you change out the actual wires before. Just pop it out like that. I'm going to put the shader tip. Wait, which one is this? This is number 2. Good. So number 2 will be my shader tip. Snug these back down. Nice and tight. And then this one will be my knife tip. There we are. 2 options for lines. You can just switch back and forth, you know, with this little switch between them. You switch to this one, the knife tip will get hot. This one will stay cold. Then you switch over, this one will get hot, and this one will cool down. At least that's how it should work. So what we're going to be using this device on today is this gourd, which a viewer was kind enough to send to me out of her garden, I think, which is pretty cool. It's nice and dried out already. Still has the seeds in it. It's very loud. It could be used as a maraca. That's what those things are called, right? And I took it and I sanded it down a little bit, first with 400 grit sandpaper and then 3000, so it's nice and smooth. Things don't need to be smooth when you wood burn them, but it helps a little bit. I mean, it does just that. It makes the whole experience a little smoother. It makes the lines a little cleaner, I think, okay? And you would not believe what happened when I was sitting down there at the abandoned train track sanding my gourd this morning at 6 a.m. The sun came up and it was beautiful. Anyways, let's get to it. I'll talk about this and wood burners in general a little bit more if I can while I work on it, okay? So as you can see here, this is what it looks like if you turn the heat up all the way. The tip does glow bright red. It's pretty cool, and you can really very satisfyingly slice through a lot of things besides wood. Probably chunks of your desk and I don't know about metal, maybe some softer metals. Bismuth probably. Definitely mercury. Anyways, I got started and I immediately switched off of the knife blade and switched over to one of the tips you might call a pen nib. I noticed that the knife blade tip included with this kit wasn't really much of a knife blade. The knife blades I've used before, I call them knife blades, but they're just kind of burner tips that come with these. The ones I have on the other kits I've bought are really like actual knife blades, like they're sharp. Not like sharpened like an actual knife, but I don't know, actually kind of like sharpened like an actual knife. This one was not sharp at all. So it kind of made it difficult in that regard. So I just switched over to a pen nib and went at it, and it was working okay. I was a little bit discouraged because the gourd wasn't burning quite like I imagined it would. I had all these ridiculous fantasies in my head about how amazingly this gourd would burn, and I think that, you know, that it just didn't live up to all my dreams. I mean, it burned okay. You know, it's light colored and it burns dark. Okay, and that's what you want. And also, but the main thing, another thing you want to look for in things that you're doing pyrography on is that it has a, you know, if it's like a piece of wood, you want it to have not a very pronounced grain, or at least a very predictable grain. And this gourd was unpredictable. Like I guess, I mean, you can kind of look at it and see that it has kind of splotchy colors to it there. And like every place you see it change color a little bit there, and even places where you can't see it changing color, all those spots would burn in different ways. So you'd just be drawing a line, and then your line would suddenly start getting darker, and it would suddenly, start burning a lot faster and easier. And then you'd come across a spot where it wouldn't burn nearly as easy, and you have to slow way down. So if you have a material that's, very consistent in density or whatever quality, makes something so it burns the same way as the material next to it. I don't even know if I'm explaining this well, but basically the key is that you just want to keep your wood burning pen moving at a consistent speed. And that doesn't work here if the material is unpredictable. So that's just one frustration I had with it. And then pretty soon here, I was adjusting the temperature a little bit, and I noticed that this temperature adjustment knob was a little bit weird. And I've never had a wood burning kit with a voltmeter on it. Is that what it's called? A voltometer? Who knows? I noticed that the whole first third or so of this gauge, like the first 2 notches of it maybe, it didn't do anything. Like I could turn it up to 1, I could turn it up to 2, and it wasn't until somewhere past 2 that the volts would start going up. So I was like, that's a little bit weird, and then at around 7 it would be at around, like 50 volts, and then if I turned it all the way up, it would be about 110 volts. But it only started going up at around the 2 mark. Actually, I don't even know if there were 10 marks. I just kind of assumed there were. That seemed like obvious. But so then I looked in the manual. It said you had to turn the fine adjustment screw. So I turned the fine adjustment screw, which really all it did was change the starting temperature or change the starting voltage. So it just made it so the 0 at the beginning, I turned it up to 45 volts, and it just made it so the first 2 notches would be 45, and still the first 2 notches still did nothing. There was still no fine tuning of the temperature. Like it was impossible to put it at 5 volts, for example, unless you wanted to turn the tiny screw with a tiny screwdriver every time. It was just a little bit weird how that whole first section of that turning knob didn't do anything. And maybe that's normal with wood burners, and I just didn't ever know it before because I never had a voltmeter attached to the knob before. I don't know. It is weird. So I kept on working on it. This took me about 12 hours to do this design on the gourd. I think it turned out pretty gourd. It smelled good. It smells pretty close to what the other wood burnings I've done, just on actual pieces of wood. I guess this is a kind of melon. It's just kind of like dried out or something. I'm not sure. I will say, all in all, I don't know if I would personally buy this kit. Like after my full experience with it, this took me 2 days, right? And after the first day, I spent the whole session, like maybe like 6 hours each day. The first 6 hours, I used this Tekchic kit, whatever you want to call it. I mean, I'll put a link to it in the description if you want to check it out. I'll put a couple of other links too for the kits I'm about to mention. I switched over to a different kit on the second day that I like much more, and it got a little bit better. It just worked better. I mean, the kit I use is also a little bit, maybe like twice as expensive, but that's just for other features, I think, and just maybe general craftsmanship. This one did feel a little bit cheap. The pens you hold, those felt very solid, okay? Those felt well constructed, but like the power unit, that felt a little bit chintzy. This kit costs $160 or $70, and I think maybe I would buy it for like $100 less, maybe like $70. Maybe I feel like should be the real price, because for $100, between at about that price range, you could also, I think before I mentioned the Coalwood Cub, it's actually on woodburning.com. You can get a Cub standard kit, the Coalwood Cub. This is one of the first kit I started with. You could get that for $167. Same price, and I think it's far superior quality. Or you could go to razortip.com. They've got the SK burner with a pen, comes with a pen and everything. Those I think would both be better options. You know, I don't mind like reviewing this one right here that I unboxed in this video, but I'm just like, I don't want to say don't buy it, but I'm afraid someone will buy it when with the same amount of money they could have gotten one of these other kits. Or, you know, like I said before, go do your own research, and I'm sure there's a lot of good kits out there. There's other ones, you know. There's lots of stuff, good stuff out there. And I'm sure this kit could do well for you too. I don't know. I'm not like dogmatic about it or anything. I mean, it worked. Like you saw for the whole first half of the video, it still drew lines on the gourd. And like you can always still go to, you know, Michael's or, you know, Walmart or whatever and get the $15, $20 kit with the solid tips and do amazing stuff with that. People do amazing stuff with the cheaper kits, you know, just like people do amazing stuff with ballpoint pens. You can always get it done. It just sometimes, you know, it depends how impatient you are. And if you want to be able to draw your lines a little bit faster, a little bit darker, have a little bit more control over it. I think one of the reasons why I don't do wood burning more is because it just does take a lot longer than drawing. I don't know. There's probably some exceptions to different things, you know, different little patterns and styles you do. But for me, the way I do it, it just probably takes like three or four times as long as drawing for me to accomplish the same sort of thing. Obviously, just besides the fact that it's burning something into something else. Anyways, hopefully I checked off all the points I wanted to mention. Yeah. Anyways, talk to you later. Bye. Bye, everyone.